What's going on? How you doing? My name's David the Crook, and today I'm going to show you how to mix little kid vocals. That sounds hella weird, but I have a song here. It's called Uzma Kappa. The artist, his name is Gabe the Goat. If I'm not mistaken, he's like 12, 13, maybe 14, pushing it. I'm not exactly sure. We're going to mix his vocals today. But before we get into the video, I want to remind you to hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button. So I'm going to play the beginning, just the hook and part of the verse, so you can get a feel of the song, and then we'll just go from there.
He said you ain't a rapper, I'm the underdog who's my kappa. They said they heard my song, it's a slapper. They say you the go man, what happened to the laughter? Yeah, soon I'll be rolling Mercedes, no roof. They say you a winner, just lit up the booth. They said that I'm trash, man, please tell the truth. 007 on me with designer suits now. Like a light bulb, I'ma shine. I'ma leave them scared or I'll stein. Like to me, I be always on my grind. They listen to my songs all the time.
So there you go. That's the hook and part of the verse. Dude's really good. He knows how to sing, I'll tell you that. I know nowadays people are rapping younger and younger and younger. You know, I'm pretty sure I saw a video the other day. It was like a 9-year-old kid rapping. He had some bars though, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm just gonna show how to mix those type of vocals, and we're just gonna start from scratch. We're gonna mix the vocals from nothing to how we want them. Now, if you see my other videos, you know the first plugin I always put on my vocals is a plugin by WA Productions called Outlaw. Same thing like Vocal Writer. What it does, it pretty much automates the vocals. It keeps them balanced, so that way the compressor doesn't have to overwork. Also, if you look, I have the mix at 50%, so it's not grabbing all the vocals, it's just grabbing pretty much 50% of the vocals. It's automating part of it, but then you also have that raw dynamic vocals that is not pretty much automated, so that it adds like a nice balance of between where he goes too high, it brings it down, but it doesn't bring down all his vocals. I'll show you.
He said you ain't a rapper, I'm the underdog who's my kappa. They said they heard my song, it's a slapper.
When he's saying something slapper, and then you see that little, what is that, purple thing go up, is just pretty much carrying that vocal out, and it just doesn't die down all the way, so you have a nice blend of both. Next thing I'm gonna do is just pretty much compress the vocals, and the Outlaw's already doing some automation, so when I add this compressor, it's not there to over compress. Pretty much the first compressor I'm going to use is a stock Logic Pro X compressor, and I'm just going to go with the Studio FET. Now this is not really my favorite compressor, but for this song it's going to do it. The color that it adds mostly is the reason why I'm using it.
He said you ain't a rapper, I'm the underdog who's my kappa. They said they heard my song, it's a slapper. They say you the go man, what happened to the laughter? Yeah, soon I'll be rolling Mercedes, no roof. They say you a winner, just lit up the booth. They said that I'm trash, man.
And pretty much all I did is just put the ratio at 2:1, put the auto gain on off, makeup gain, I'm not going to touch that just because the other stuff we're going to be adding will bring up the gain naturally, so there's no point of adding gain here, especially since it's so early within the mixing process. And all I'm doing is like a 3 dB compression. I'm not over compressing just because I like adding multiple compressors. I like adding like 3-4 compressors and just doing a 2 dB compression, so pretty much it'll be like 2 2 2 2, so it'll be 2 4 6 8 instead of adding one compressor, putting it at 8 and then squishing the vocals. It's a little too noticeable. I know you could also parallel compress. You could like over compress it to like 10 and then just bring the mix down. I have a friend who does that, comes out good, but personally I like using multiple compressors. That's just my style of mixing. You should also find out what works best for you. Now next thing I'm gonna do is just pretty much add an EQ. I'm gonna use a EQ by Waves. It's the REQ4. And the reason I'm adding this one is just because you mostly mix, I want to mix with my ears, especially because it's a little kid. There's no bass in his voice, obviously, you know. I don't know if he's been to puberty. I didn't ask him. That's none of my business. But I want to mix with my ears. So pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all the low end. Probably, usually for a normal human male, like an older person that has a deeper voice, is like from like 110, probably 130 max, 140 pushing it. So I don't even know how far I'm gonna go with him. I might even hit like 200, honestly. So we're just gonna find out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this high pass filter, put the gain down, and I'm just gonna sweep it all the way take out all of the frequencies and just slowly push it back until I get that full vocal feel.
Please tell the truth, 007. Like a light bulb, I'ma shine. I believe I'm scared or I'll stein. Like to me, I be always on my grind. Now they listen to my songs all the time. You wanna heat? Well, that's what you found. Started from the bottom and straight from the ground. Said they like my lyrics and they really like my sound. You missed your.
So pretty much I'm at 287, almost 300 hertz. I'm taking off, and the slope the Q I use is 85. Now I could open it all the way up and add more of those bass notes in it, but there's no point, so I kind of just close it off a little bit. I don't want to close it all the way either, just because it just sounds too close without those frequencies. Like, it is a human voice and there is frequencies down there, so you just don't want to cut them out completely. You want to leave them in there, but you also want to, quote, cut them out. That's why you just kind of leave it open about like that. I think I had like an 80 something, but I don't think it really matters. Now that I have that cut out, I'm gonna take out some of that boxiness. Now usually the boxiness will be between 250, 400 on a normal person. I don't know where it's gonna be for him. We're gonna find that out. So I'm just gonna bring the gain up just a little bit, close up the Q slope, probably about like 1.30 or whatever here, and we're just gonna sweep it, and then we're gonna find out where that boxiness is.
This shot, just know I got rebound, yeah. Like my birthday, want the cake. You don't want the beef, I ain't talking about no steak. After me was part one, now here's the second take. Please don't rock with me if you know you is a fake, nah. Wanna drop out and soon, but here's a single.
So I think I found it at about 459, around there. Usually you could just cut, I mean, I'm not gonna say just cut anywhere, but when you find that, when you hear that boxiness, you just want to tame it just a little bit, just to cut out some of that boxiness. Also helps make the vocal sound clear, because it takes out, it's like a nasal feel, like a nasal sound to the vocals, and so it makes it a lot clearer too. Now I'm just gonna boost some of the highs. I'm not gonna push it too much, just because I will be bringing up the highs later on. I'll probably just do like a 2 dB max boost on the highs.
Just stacking up all my chips like some Pringles. I'm better than you, we both know we ain't equal. You like that for me, well here is the sequel. He said you ain't a rapper, I'm the underdog who's the capper.
There we go. It's already sounding a lot clearer, a lot cleaner too. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add an EQ. I can either add the one by Waves or the one stock in Logic Pro X, but I'm gonna use the one stock from Logic Pro X, just because I feel like a lot of people have this EQ more than the ones by Waves. If you have the Waves one, you could do the same one. You could do the same thing. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna boost the low end, and I know I took out like almost 300 hertz, but I will be boosting the 100 hertz just because they're still there. Like I mentioned, I didn't put the slope all the way at, was it 48? I left it open, so there's still frequencies down there, and I'm just gonna boost it a little bit more. And the reason I use the 2BQ is for the color. I also use it because of the Q slope that it has. It's gonna boost those 100 hertz, but it's not gonna overdo it, in a sense of, if you add too much, it will add mud to it. So what I like doing, I boost it all the way up and then just tame it back, so probably about 2-3 dB.
He said you ain't a rapper, I'm the underdog who's the capper. They said they heard my song, it's a slapper. They say you the go man, what happened to the laughter? Yeah. Soon I'll be rolling Mercedes, no roof. They say you a winner, just lit up the booth. They said that I'm trash, man, please tell the truth. 007 on me, wear designer suits now. Like a light bulb, I'ma shine. I believe I'm scared or I'll stop.
So as you could tell, I also did a 12K boost. I did about 4.5. It brought up some of the S's in his voice. So what I did, I used this high intent to boost it up more. So pretty much what this is doing, it's lowering that frequency at 20K. So kind of it counterbalances what it does. But because the EQ slope on the high boost is bigger, like the Q slope is bigger than the high intent when that's bringing it down, it kind of counteracts, and it just creates this nice boost in the high end, but it's not also making it too harsh. Now I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. What I'm gonna add next is pretty much another compressor stock from Logic Pro X. I'm just gonna use the vintage, but I'm just gonna do the same thing, 2 dB compression, nothing major. I put the distortion on soft just because that's gonna bring out more of that high and on his vocals.
He said you ain't a rapper, I'm the underdog who's no capper. They said they heard my song, it's a slapper. They say you the go man, what happened to the laughter? Yeah. Soon I'll be rolling Mercedes, no roof. They say you a winner, just lit up the booth. They said that I'm trash, man, please tell the truth. 007 on me, wear designer suits now. Like a light bulb, I'ma shine.
The vocals are sounding good. I could honestly leave it just like that and then just pretty much add some pitch correction, which would be like auto tune. And the song is in key of G, so I just pretty much major scale, G, low, and then just add as much auto tune.
He said you ain't a rapper, I'm the underdog who's no capper. They said they heard my song, it's a slapper. They say you the go man, what happened to the laughter? Yeah. Soon I'll be rolling Mercedes, no roof. They say you a winner, just lit up.
I'm not gonna add it all the way just because he doesn't want auto tune all the way, so I'm just gonna leave it at 44. Now I'm gonna add a de-esser to de-ess the vocals, and it's gonna be Sibilance by Waves. It's like my favorite de-esser. It's way better than any other de-esser that I've ever used, just because it not only does it take out the S's, it also tames other harsh frequencies.
He said you ain't a rapper, I'm the underdog who's no capper. They said they heard my song, it's a slapper. They say you the go man, what happened to the laughter? Yeah. Soon I'll be rolling Mercedes, no roof. They say you a winner, just lit up.
So it also takes out the sh, the T, S, I. Like, it's pretty much taming other frequencies that are harsh to the human ear. So that's the reason why I love Sibilance by Waves. This plugin is dope. Pretty much one of the main things when it comes to mixing kid vocals is you kind of want to do the same thing as you're mixing a normal human's, like a male, older person's vocals, but it's just pushing everything a little bit more. So for example, instead of taking out 130, I'm taking out like 300. I'm still boosting the highs, and it's just pretty much taming different frequencies. For example, usually I cut out 400. For this one I cut out almost 500 to take out that boxiness. It's pretty much finding out what works best for that, the little kids vocals. I just want to widen it up. I'm just going to use the S1 Imager by Waves. This plugin is dope.
007 on me, wear designer suits now. Like a light bulb, I'ma shine. I'ma leave them scared or else dying. Like to me, I be always on my grind. Now they listen.
So pretty much what it's doing, it's widening up. So if you're hearing on speakers or on your phone, you're not going to hear. If you're hearing on headphones or earbuds, you will hear it just a little bit. It just widens it up. I'm just pushing it just a little bit, not too much, because I don't want to over push it, just because then it kind of thins out the vocals and then it causes like some sort of phasing. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some saturation to the vocals to introduce other harmonics into it, so that way the vocals just become a lot fuller. Now this plugin is free. It's Saturation Knob by Softtubes. If you look it up, just Google www.softtubessaturationknob.com, because last time I searched up Softtubes, it took me to like this porn website. I was like, oh shit. So just put saturation knob. I'm about to get some viruses on my computer. I won't be able to make videos no more. I'll be all bad.
007 on me, wear designer suits now. Like a light bulb, I'ma shine. I'ma leave them scared or else dying. Like to me, I be always on my grind. Now they listen to my songs all the time. You wanna heat? Well, that's what you found. Started from the bottom, then straight from the...
Like you heard it did bring up a lot of distortion and saturation into his vocals. So what I do is I turn that knob all the way on, just because I am bussing it, and then I control it using the bus knob. That's the best way I found out that works for me. Now, like I've said in my other video, you can also just drop it straight onto the vocal channel strip, and then you'll just pretty much just mess with this knob here. But it seems like a little bit too much work when you could just dump it all the way up and then just mess with this knob here. Now if you don't have this and you don't want to download it, you could also use distortion, overdrive, distortion 2. Pretty much just do the same thing. Like if you're gonna use some distortion, put the output 0, put the drive all the way up, the hurt tone all the way. Now you don't have to put the drive all the way up. I found like I usually do about 30 something, or like around here, like anywhere 15 to 30 sounds good. It doesn't over distort either, just because that is a distortion. it will distort the vocals pretty much. So the next thing you want to do is just add some delay. Now I always use H delay just because I just like it, honestly. I don't really see the point of using tape delay. Sounds dope, I'm not gonna lie, but it's just too much like working with it. When you pretty much just use H delay, like it pretty much ping pongs it for you, and the other one you have to mess with like the percentage on the left right. So I am sidechaining it, so pretty much it's gonna compress the delay, and then when there's like a pause, like a light bulb I'ma shine, and then that pretty much that shine's gonna be what delays. Now I am gonna overdo it and then just bring it back. I have the delay at 1/4, and then the BPMs at 92. I have ping pong. I cut some of that lows off, about probably cut like 500.
7 on me with designer suits now, like a light bulb I'ma shine.
So like that, like a light bulb I'ma shine, and then there's a shine. I think it said like twice. It's at 1/4. So depending on the feedback and depending on the delay is gonna how the delay is gonna come out. But I don't want too much delay. I don't want too much feedback. So I just pretty much have the feedback at 36.
7 on me with designer suits now, like a light bulb I'ma shine. I'm leaving.
So pretty much I have it where you could hear the delay, but it's not too noticeable. It's kind of just gonna be one of those things in the background, and it will be mixed in with the ad-lib. So I know he has ad-lib there too, and I will delay those ad-libs too. So it's kind of like it's gonna get hidden within the mix, but it is gonna bring the vocals to life to some extent. Now pretty much the last thing you want to do is just add reverb, and the first reverb I use is Space Designer. So pretty much it's the first reverb that comes out when you open it up. It's at 1.8 large. I'm guessing it's a hall, I'm not exactly sure.
7 on me with designer suits now, like a light bulb I'ma shine. I'ma leave them scared or I'll stein. Like to me, I be always on my grind. They listen to my songs all the time. You wanna heat? Well, that's what you found. Started from the bottom, then straight from the ground. Said they like my lyrics and they really like my sound. You missed your shot, just know I got rebound, yeah. Like my birthday, want the cake. You don't want the beef, I ain't talking about no steak.
Like I do with every other bus, I bring it all the way up and I just bring it all the way down, and that's pretty much the best way to add reverb instead of having to add it straight onto the vocal chain. I am mixing two reverbs. Like I said, I'm using this one. I think it's a plate. I could be wrong, but it sounds like a plate to me. And then this is a large hall, and this pretty much just cut out some of those highs. I have the time at 4, the decay at 3. Probably boost this a little bit more to actually 3. Now, and that's pretty much it. Like when you're mixing kid vocals, you kind of want to do the same thing as an adult, but pretty much just you're gonna do different stuff in a sense of you're not gonna cut 130 out of a kid's vocals just because there's kind of nothing there. His voice range doesn't go that low. His voice range is gonna be at like 300, for example, like Gabe. You could be up to 500, honestly. Like it just depends on the age of the kid and how he sounds, and then you just go to boost some of those highs. I can honestly boost this a little bit more.
7 on me with designer suits now, like a light bulb I'ma shine. I'ma leave them scared or I'll stein. Like to me, I be always on my grind. They listen to
I could boost those highs a little bit more, but just because this is like a R&B, like singing more type of song, I'm not gonna boost it too much. I kind of want the vocals to sit well within the mix, and it's not too much highs, but there is a nice balance. I also boosted some of those lows, as you can see when I used the 2BQ. I boosted the lows about 2.5 just to thicken up the vocals, just because you kind of don't want to thin it out. And with kid vocals, it's easy to thin out just because there's not that many frequencies you're working with. So when you're cutting, like for example 300-400 hertz, that's already like half of the freaking vocal, half of the frequency is already gone. You get what I mean? So it's easy to thin out. So you just want to be very careful when you're mixing the kid vocals, and you just want to make sure you add some highs in there. Also just want to thicken up the vocals. Now depending on the mic, that's going to play a part in it too. That's pretty much how you mix kid vocals. Now I want to remind you to hit the subscribe button, also hit the like button, and leave a comment telling me what other type of vocals you would like to see. Now if you want your song mixed and mastered by me, feel free to check out my website down below. The link will be in the description. Also, if you don't want to do that, email me or message me on IG. Everything will be down below. Also, the full song will be down below in the description. And I hope you have a good day. I hope to see you next time. My name is David the Crook. Peace.